Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. This is my ninth video on refrigeration and air conditioning. So friends, before I begin with the video, I wanted to share something with you. As you all know that I was sharing my video on a Telegram channel, but I think some people don't like it as this might be affecting their business. That's why they have removed me from their channel so that I'm not able to share anything over there. So friends, today for the last time I am sharing my video on Telegram, and after that I won't be doing it any further. So if you think my videos are helpful, then you can watch them on my channel. Over there I have created a different playlist in the playlist section, for refrigeration and air conditioning, then fresh water generator, then compressor and boilers. Then there's a playlist for question and answers, and also the main engine. And I'll try to cover all the machineries which is there on board ship. So if you are interested, then you can watch my videos on the in the playlist or on my YouTube channel. So thank you for listening, friends, and do subscribe to my channel and share it with your friends to keep learning. Now let's begin with this video, which is on expansion devices. These expansion devices are the basic components of the refrigeration system. The basic function of these devices is to reduce pressure from the condenser pressure to the evaporator pressure and regulate the refrigerant flow from the high pressure liquid line into the evaporator at a rate equal to the evaporation rate in the evaporator. So these are the two important functions of this expansion devices. Now they are basically divided into fixed opening type and variable opening type, and there are mostly 7 types. So let's see one by one. First one is hand operated or manual expansion valve. Then we have capillary tube, then orifice. So these two, this capillary tube and orifice, they are this fixed opening type. That is, their opening is fixed, and this flow rate cannot be controlled or varied. Then we have constant pressure automatic expansion valve, then thermostatic expansion valve, then float type expansion valve, which are high side float valve or low side float valve, and the electronic expansion valves. So in this video, friends, I'll try to cover this thermostatic expansion valve in detail, and in my upcoming videos I'll cover this electronic expansion valve, and all other expansion valves I won't be covering because they are not that important from exam point of view. But if you want me to help you with any of the expansion valves, then you can just comment down below my video so that I can help you with that. Now let's see the expansion device. The main components of this device are the filler bulb, then the capillary tube, which is used to connect the filler bulb to the this expansion device. Then we have bellow, then the needle stand, then the opening for the high pressure refrigerant to enter the expansion hall, and then it follows this path and then exits through this opening and enters the evaporator at low pressure. Then we have adjustable spring, and then the screw for adjusting the superheat of this expansion wall. So the thermostatic expansion wall maintains a constant degree of superheat at the exit of the evaporator. This consists of a filler bulb, as we have seen, that is attached to the evaporator exit tube, so that senses the temperature at the exit of the evaporator. This filler bulb is connected to the top of the bellow by a capillary tube. The filler view bulb and the narrow tube contains the same fluid, and the fluid is called the power fluid. This power fluid can be same as that of the refrigerant which is used in the refrigeration system, or it may be different. So thermostatic expansion valves which have a different power fluid, those are called thermostatic expansion valve with cross charge. Now let's see the working of this thermostatic expansion valve. For that, let's suppose the evaporator pressure is T, and corresponding saturation pressure is P, and the and at the exit of this evaporator, we have temperature T plus delta T. So the main function of this thermostatic expansion valve is to maintain this degree of superheat, constant degree of this superheat delta T. So the pressure inside this the power inside this power fluid, or inside this filler bulb, or in the capillary tube, let's suppose it is PP, which is the saturation pressure corresponding to temperature TE plus delta T, as this bulb is directly in contact with the outlet of the exit of the evaporator. And let's suppose this bellow has an area of A. So the force Fp, which is exerted in the downward direction on the bellow, will be given by Fp is equals to area into Pp, that is the saturation pressure, area into saturation pressure of the power fluid. Now let's see the force Fe, which is acted below the bellow. Let's suppose we have this pressure P acting acting below the bellow. In case the evaporator is large and has a significant pressure drop, the pressure from the evaporator exit is fed directly to the bottom of the bellow by using this external equalizing line, in case the evaporator pressure is large. So such thermostatic expansion valve uses this external equalizing line to compensate for pressure drop. To know uh, um, uh, that to know this thing in detail, I have already made one video in the question answer playlist that tells the working why this externally equalizing line is given. So if you are interested, you can watch that video also. So the pressure exerted by this evaporating pressure below the bellow will be Fe, which is equal to area into Pe. So the net force exerted on this bellow in the downward direction will be Fp minus Fe. So this is the force exerted by the bellow, net force exerted on the bellow in the downward direction. Now uh, now we have this spring which is exerting upward force on the needle stand. So the stable in the stable condition, this Fs will be equal to Fe. So this condition has to be fulfilled by this expansion valve. Now let's see its working when this compression plant or this plant is during off cycle. So the evaporator temperature is same as that of the room temperature throughout, and the temperature throughout the evaporator will also be same. That is, the degree of superheat will be 0 in this case. So if the power fluid is same as that of the refrigerant, then this Pp will be equal to Pe. These two pressures will be same. So in that case, the Fp minus Fe will be 0. So a slight spring force Fs will keep this needle stand uh, against this orifice and will keep this thermostatic expansion valve in closed condition. But in case of thermostatic expansion valve with cross charge, that is, the power fluid is different from that of the refrigerant, in that case this Pp will be slightly greater than this Pe, because the saturation pressure corresponding to the Te will be different in this case. So this Fs will be slightly greater than Fp minus Fp minus Fe. So this condition is applied takes place when the thermostatic expansion valve is with cross charge. So in that case, this force, this spring force, keeps this orifice closed. So this is how this expansion valve works when compression is the cycle is this compressor is switched off. Now let's see when the compressor is running. So as compressor is started, the evaporator pressure decreases at a very fast rate, and hence the force Fe, this force decreases at very fast rate. This happens since this thermostatic expansion valve is closed and no refrigerant is fed to the evaporator, while compressor draws out refrigerant at very fast rate and tries to evacuate the evaporator. The force Fp does not changes during this period. This force Fp will not change in this period since the evaporator temperature does not change. Hence this difference will increase as the compressor runs for some time after starting, and at one point the difference will be greater than this spring force. So in this case, this net force which is acting in the downward direction, that is Fp minus Fe, will be greater than Fs, and this force will open this expansion wall, and it will push this needle stand in the downward direction and open this orifice to allow the refrigerant to flow. So as the refrigerant enters the evaporator, it arrests the fast rate of decrease of evaporator pressure, and the movement of the needle stand is also slowed down in that case. The spring, however, gets compressed as the needle stand moves downward to open the orifice. Eventually, the needle stand reaches a position such that the condition of stability, that is Fs is equal to Fp minus Fe, is again reached. That is, this stable condition of this expansion wall is reached. That is, force exerted by the spring force in the upward direction is equal to the force exerted by the this power fluid, and the evaporator pressure in the downward direction will be equal. So in that case, the expansion wall operates steadily. So for given value of Fs, the Fp is greater than Fe when this compressor is running. So in that case, the amount by which Fe is greater than Fe will be equal to delta T. So this delta T is directly proportional to the Fs, that is spring force. So that's why this screw is used for setting the value of superheat in the expansion wall, as this is directly proportional to delta T. So this is how the expansion wall works. Now let's see the advantages of this expansion wall. It provides excellent control of refrigerant capacity, as the supply of the refrigerant to the evaporator matches the demand. It ensures that the evaporator operates efficiently by preventing starving under high load conditions. It protects the compressor from sludging by ensuring a minimum degree of superheat under all conditions of load. If this expansion wall is properly selected, that is, it does not allow any liquid refrigerant to enter into the compressor, as this can form sludge with the lube oil or damage the bearing, and can also damage the cylinder head and the cylinder, as this liquid refrigerant is non-compressible. So thank you friends, hope this video will help you in understanding thermostatic expansion wall. Till then, take care, have fun, and the next video I'll cover this electronic expansion walls. So keep watching.